Hey, you guys, good evening. Hey, Brian Boone. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Can't remember. You said you did something. I don't know if it was during a practice, but um, I think I remember you saying something. So, um, how's it feeling? Hey, Kari, what's up, buddy? I was a little late getting on because my excitement of being at the studio led me into the main room, and I was measuring to see, where we can place ourselves and have a proper amount of social distance in the room. So that's why I was a little late getting on. Hey, Ari. Yeah, yeah, I remember that one. Are you proposing that we do that again? Because the sole of my left foot has never and will never be the same after that one. That was crazy. That was crazy good though. Definitely opened something up. And remember, I was telling you guys a few days ago that we went into a pretty big backward bend and wheel pose during a flow, and I definitely felt the depth of it while I was in it. And then the next day it was inflamed, and I could feel it because it's that there's nothing there, there's no sensation, and then you move the slightest bit the forward direction or lift the chin, and then it would twinge and you would feel this rush of sensation. So that's generally inflammation. Um, but I, was mindful, carried through a practice. It was pretty uncomfortable, and then put some ice on it as well. And within, I think it was 2 days, whatever had happened, the body goes in, it repairs itself. So just make sure you're not exacerbating. So many times people think, feeling something, I got to stretch it out. That's not necessarily the case. You want to shorten it, right? Shrink the extension and the flexion and find your way into that part of your a more neutral state, and then it can go in and do its repairs. It's like the repairman, repair woman coming in and doing the repairs. I'm taking a look over at my cabinet here because this morning I had a visitor during practice. I don't know what it is, but things love to come visit us while we're practicing. So that was definitely interesting. Let's see, Derek, what's up? Neck is back in action, Boone. Good. Nice to be back. Okay, be mindful and remember if you do a tripod headstand, that going over is not part of the pose. Ha, it's a little inside joke with Boone and I. Sherry, good evening. Roz, good evening. Hope you're doing well on the East Coast. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything that you're feeling in your body, we've got a couple minutes. Go ahead and type it into the chat, and I can hope to address something relative into what you might be feeling. It's part of the luxury of participating with so many students over the years is that when you guys express yourselves, that's really where we get the information from. The closest thing that we can honor is our body and our own experience. And sometimes we're looking at it one way, and we don't know that there's 50 other ways that we could be looking at it. So if you express or if you have a question, please always feel free to let me know. Hi, Christine. Oh, the visitor. No, the visitor was a spider, but definitely a more girthy and uh, bigger spider than I'm used to seeing. So that was he or she had come out like right at the beginning of the practice this morning, and I was like, oh, okay, chill. And, then I can, these things happen, and then you're aware of that energy or whatever that thing is, and it draws something up inside of you. So again, just practicing and sharing the space, and, he or she went under the baseboard and then, moved back underneath the cabinet and came out. I just think it's actually kind of sad. I relocated this cabinet from my house, and I probably took the spider with the cabinet. So it's kind of a bummer. Spider's like, where am I? What's going on? But he or she doesn't know that is actually in a really good, peaceful place. So both, Christine. Detox is definitely going to work through your internal organs because that state of compression can get so deep into the body and through the connective tissue. So think of this, the compression, right, stores up the energy. So it kind of stagnates and stops the blood from flowing in that part of the body. It's just compressing. It's just kind of taking what's there and putting a weight on it. And then when you release that, your blood flow is persistent, it's constant. So if it's not going to that part of your body during that period of time, it's going other places. But it's just waiting for that, door to open up again, and then it comes rushing through. Think of like a powerful stream. If it had a dam at the end, you open the dam, and then the water goes rushing through. So that's what's playing out, and it's definitely hitting the energy meridians. This is based on the Chinese meridian-based theory. You can look that up on the Google. So there's energy lines in the body that we can exacerbate and focus on. But it is just getting in and creating that flush. Really good question. Hey Biz, hope you're doing well. All right, you guys, here I am talking, and it's 7:31. So let's go ahead and start the playlist on earbuds. If you're having music on Spotify this evening, go ahead and start your playlist there. And if you want to take a little something to drink before you get started, please feel free to do that. Getting ready to share, everybody. I told you a while ago about a project that I'm working on at the house. It is a deep meditation, and there's been many stages and layers into this project, and it's putting in a brick patio. So I am getting closer to sharing more about that process, but it's been something that's filled up the middle of my days. All right, let's start lying down on our backs in Shavasana tonight. And if you'd like to set something underneath your head, you could place your yoga block, or you can place your pillow or blanket. Feel free. And loosen the knees, let your big toes fall out. And reset your bum and your low back. And relax your belly and feel the weight in your shoulders, and let your hands come down to rest on your ribs. And this practice is beyond great because in flow, you can kind of watch flow. Like if you ever go back and you watch the video of the class, you can watch it and you can see that there's some energy, and there's a visualization to that energy as you're moving, and you understand there's strength components. But detox is so fascinating because you're not moving, and yet there's so much feeling, there's so much emotion, there's so many things that play out and through the awareness and the consciousness of your mind while you're in the posture. And nobody can see, nobody can interpret, nobody can create their story about your experience like they can with flow. And rock your head a couple times side to side. And take a few deep breaths as you're feeling your neck roll out. Not that anybody is, but if you're wondering why I've been practicing with a handkerchief around my neck, I'm in a beta test right now. Obviously, we can't wear a mask in the hot room. That would just reduce the supply and that which we need to support our practice. But I'm testing the comfort and the feeling of having the handkerchief around the neck, loosely, of course. And that way, in the event that, we're humans, we're still going to collect dust in our nose and we're going to have to sneeze and cough and all that good stuff. So, if we have the handkerchief, then we're good. We're covered when we need it. Let's let your head come back to center and then close the eyes and observe 3 Buddha belly breaths. All right, empty on the lungs through the exhale, bend your legs. We've been starting a lot of these classes on our back for a while, and so we're going to roll over. We make our way onto all fours. And we'll do a version of wind relieving from our hands and knees versus on our back. And so if you know that you've got knee stuff and it's pretty uncomfortable when you come into the flexion, tuck a towel or a blanket or something behind your right knee. It's going to help soften around the patella, the front, the kneecap. And then slide your right shin forward so your leg is bent. Keep the heel, we've done this, tucked underneath the bum. And then start to slide your left foot back, point your toes. For balance, you may want to take something like your block or a blanket, put it underneath the front of your left thigh. That's the opposite leg, the leg that is straight. And so you don't feel like you're tipping over. And then you're going to find a soft spot in your belly. And come down and let your chest and kind of form into your thigh. And stack the palms, release your forehead into your hands or the mat. And so this is wind relieving without using any of the strength in your arms, and its focus is on your ascending colon, the digestive process. We say, I hope you didn't eat tacos or a big burrito before class. General guidance, everybody, if you're going to eat something, not something too hearty, and eat it about 2 hours before you're going to practice. It'll give you energy to practice, but it won't still be, and processing is hard and your body working is hard to break it down while you're practicing. You really can't think of another
activity or reason why you would be in this position. And so you may be getting some interesting sensations. Just watch them. And practice your stillness. Observe your inhale and your exhale. And practice reducing the fidgets, the involuntary and the voluntary movements while you're in the pose. Let's observe about 5 more breaths on this side. If you're new to the practice, when I go silent, I'm simply offering you space to explore. No need to attach anything to your thoughts. You can observe them. Your mind might sometimes hover around the sensation. It might relate or connect to a story. And just let your mind go wherever it's going to go. And stay patient and observant while you're in the pose. The first thing, start to lift your forehead off your hands. And take a deeper breath and then start to make your way up to your palms. Pause here with your arms straight and your hands flat. And then keep your hips heavy and then really gently roll your heart through. And shoulders down and let your gaze come somewhere straight out in front of you. And take a breath on your exhale. You can turn your gaze back to the mat. And crawl your hands in a little bit closer. And then use your left knee to start to draw your hips back. And then straighten your right leg all the way behind you. Keep your head heavy. Tuck your right toes. And let them ground down. It might feel good to sigh as you watch the flow through your right hip crease and back into your belly. And let's bring your right knee back onto the mat. And if you got that block or that blanket, slide it over to the right. And then if you have the towel behind your knee, go ahead and tuck it in behind your left knee. And it's going to help space. The kneecaps are a very sensitive part of the body.
And then go ahead and slide the knee forward so you're on the shin. And make your adjustments while you're on your hands. Slide your right toes back. And your left heel is right underneath the bum, so you're not rocking to one side or the other on the heel. And blocker blanket supports your right thigh. And then we can come down onto the forearms. Mold the belly around your left thigh. Okay, this side you're talking about the descending colon. In your digestive system, separate your elbows and stack your palms. Bring your forehead down. Let's begin to settle. Melt through the forehead, release. Talk about the belly a lot. Because we humans hold a lot of stress in our belly, and you'll see that play out through your digestive process. And you create space, you offer the opportunity for your mind to realize peace or to make peace, even when something on the surface doesn't seem so peaceful. And the beauty of being, everybody, is that there's no right or wrong. I'm sure all of us, we've done things in our lives, and sometimes we've done things right, and some things we've done things wrong. But when you're in your practice and your being, and we're not saying and to manipulate life, to fool your mind into being 24/7, but the more often that you're in the space of being, there is no right or wrong. In everything around us, everything that happens and through us and to us and with us, he becomes our teacher. It becomes part of the practice, the experience, and the evolution, the growth, the breakdown, the build-up. And
The letting in, the letting out. Let's observe about 5 more breaths on this side, please. Be gentle with yourself. Transition. And when you're ready, start to lift your head. Begin to make your way back up onto your hands. And pause once you get your arms straight. You feel a release in your belly, a little sigh. And gaze down, use your right knee and start to slide your hips back. And then you can extend your left leg straight back behind you, curl your toes into the floor, into the mat. So this is that moment I was talking to you about. You've opened the dam on the river. See if you can feel the rush of the flow, the prana, the chi. And something different in that part of your body. Let's go ahead and bring your left knee back down onto the mat. And then you can stagger your knees, slide a block or a blanket in between your feet. And so you keep facing the front of your mat. I'm just going to turn to face you. Put something between your feet, and so that you're not directly on your heels, and it's going to help you sustain the stillness as we, once again now, double compress both legs at the same time, and down through your knees, back of your legs and your hamstrings. And hands rest on your thighs, head above your heart. And feel a nice deep breath in. And let's take your right arm out into a half T. And turn your thumb down so you're internally rotating your shoulder. And then bring your right arm behind your back. And you use your left hand. You reach back and slide in the back hand, in the back of your right hand, and around your left side as far as you can. So I've actually got the left hand on the right hand. And to keep that connection, and then soften the chin towards the chest. And you're not actively pulling anymore. You just created a connection hand to hand. You got your right arm in a half bind. Now start to soften around in the feelings that you may be getting. And of course, you're welcome to close your eyes.
If you do a lot of flow yoga, vinyasa, it's great to do this and to turn the shoulder back. He draws the chest wide and puts a stretch into the front of the shoulder and the deltoid muscle. Heck, if you do anything, if you live your life, I think it's probably a good idea and to put ourselves in this situation every now and again. And detox practice releases all the excuses, all those times you said to yourself, oh, I don't have enough time to process that right now. I'm going to move on to the next thing. Life is calling me. Well, now you have plenty of space. You let anything surface. Know that you're in a safe place. You're in a place where you can support a grounding perspective and also the meaningful nature of opening yourself up again. And it's very easy to shut ourselves down, to shelter ourselves in fear, intimidation. And keep the arms shaped. Take 3 deep breaths here. And it's an emotional one, everybody. Let it come. And it's good. As you exhale, soften the chin. And let's feel what we've opened up. Your right arm come back around in front. Turn your palms up and hold them out in front of you. And then close your eyes. Sit up a little taller. Nice, everyone. Open your eyes, reach your arms up towards the sky. And notice if your right arm feels longer than your left arm. And bring your right hand down onto your thigh. Left arm out into a half T. And turn your left thumb down, internally rotate from the shoulder. And chin to chest. And bring your left arm behind your back. And take your right hand to your left hand. And use it to slide the back of your left hand around your side. And you're still square in your torso. And now you're half bound in your left arm. Yes, you might be feeling your feet tingling, your knees compressed. And relax your hamstrings, let go of any frustration and that you may have been carrying before you entered this practice tonight. Now let's chill with it, everybody. Close your eyes. And you know what you're feeling. That's all that matters. Continue to observe and these sensations, because from the outside, nobody knows. And Christine, we're getting into that phase where the feet certainly could be asleep, and that would be okay. About 1 more minute left on this side. And take 3 deep breaths right into your chest. And as we do softly and slowly, chin to your chest at the end of your exhale, you can begin to release the connection of the hands and bring your left arm back around. And then let's put our arms out in front and turn your palms to face up. And there's something there that enriched in the breath that you just took. Close your eyes in the pause. And notice how the energy in your palms and through your arms is feeling. I'm missing out because normally in a class I would have walked around and looked at all of your feet and to see the color of your feet. It's an indication of what's going on in your hips. So sometimes you can see, but you'll be able to feel it. And if you're really clogged up, think of it like you have a cold and one of your nostrils is clogged. You would be able to see that in the feet. Let's go ahead and take the arms up over your head. And straight arms, big stretch. Your arms have never felt this long before. And keep your block or your blanket in between your feet. Bring your hands down. And then come forward into a tabletop. And keep the stack where it is. And then we're going to feel this release in our legs coming into a downward facing dog. So set your hands shoulder width or a little bit wider. And tuck your toes. Probably already feel that. And then use your belly and your legs. And roll your hips up. And feel free to, don't worry about what your down dog looks like. You can widen your down dog. You could have a little bend to your knees. And make sure there's no slip underneath your hands, and then let your head hang heavy. And watch the sensations come back down onto your knees. A block or stack in between your feet once again. And then you can go ahead and sit down onto it. Lean to the left and bring your right leg out in front. And so now your stack is underneath your right sitting bone. And then once you get your right leg out in front, and put your hands in your lap. And point your right toes away. And flex the ankle, draw your toes back towards your knee. And do that a couple more times. And now remember, we're releasing the strength, and so we're not looking to activate our muscles, but with those long arms that you just created, and see if as you fold, if it's easy, not holding on, but if it's easy, and to put the hands over your toes and let one hand and stack on top of the other, do it. If it's not easy and you got to hold on in strength, then and just put your hands down onto the mat. Cool? Yeah, either way, soften your belly. And the direction is that eventually your forehead will touch your knee in this pose, but that could take a year, 2 years, and 3 years. If you're super bendy and your forehead comes down, let it go inside your knee.
This is the pose where we learn what it really means to let things roll off of our shoulders. Empty the weight of that backpack and the stories that you carry around with you. Well, who knows where you may have gone in this forward fold, but bring yourself back into a breath and the sensation in your body. Take a nice big inhale and let out a sigh as you exhale. And keep the eyes closed. Observe the leg and the hips and the spine. And start to crawl your hands back in. And roll your spine up. Head is the last thing to move. As you place it above your heart, and pause, feel, hands in your lap. This is a wavy one. And not like a heavy sigh, like a joyful sigh. A little lift to your chin, and it goes like, ah. Slowly, softly bring your eyes back into the space. And lean to your left, and so that you can tuck your right leg back in. And let's switch sides. Lean to the right. Then bring your left leg out in front of you. And slide your block or your stack underneath your left sitting bone. And once you get your left leg out and you're balanced, hands in your lap. And point your left toes.
And then pull them back, flex the ankle, toes to the knee. And then do that again, point the toes. And then flex the ankle. And forward folds are trippy, you guys. Okay, so remember, if it's easy enough and you're not pulling yourself down or holding on with strength, and hands go over your left toes. And if you are holding on or there's too much force there, right? Like you feel like you could just snap, then put your hands down onto the mat. And then either way, soften the belly. And release the chin. Eventually, the direction, forehead, and we'll kiss your knee. And go ahead and bring it back. Body sensation or breath. And close the eyes in the transition. Use your hands and walk them in to roll up through your spine. Last thing to lift is your head.
And just watch. And be with whatever you're feeling, whatever is rising and from the depths into the surface. And rest your hands in your lap. And feel it as you sit up tall. Big, proud breath into your chest. And a little sigh. And feel the waves again on this side. And again, little elevation to the chin. Take a breath in here and that happy light sigh. Ah. Be gentle. Go ahead and bring your eyes back into the space. And lean to your right a little bit, and so that you can tuck your left leg back in. Your hands forward, come into a tabletop. You can keep your block and your stack where it is. And then let's go ahead and feel this, the energy and flow in our body in downward facing dog. Don't be surprised if your heels go flat or are closer to the mat than you're normally used to. And make sure there's no slip in your hands or your feet. And then you can let your head hang heavy and turn your chin back and forth, side to side. Thank you, hamstrings, for opening and releasing any of that frustration or anger that we may have been holding on to. Come down onto your knees. You rock off to either hip. And go ahead and turn yourself all the way around to lie down onto your backs. As you lie down onto your back, bring the soles of your feet together. And let your knees fall apart. And so we're setting up in reclining butterfly pose, supine Baddha Konasana. It may feel good to take the knees up and down a couple times. And you're lying down, I'm just doing it seated, and so that I can speak and continue to share with you as you wind down. Honor the space. You celebrate this moment without any expectation of the moments that lie ahead. You may have felt some of those waves in your practice tonight, rolling through you as you released and the tension and that you were carrying in your hamstrings or in your hips or in your low back or deeper in your body, your internal organs, your ascending, your descending colon.
And it's like washing our insides. But your inside is your inside. It's not like you see something, right, physically or material and coming out, and so we just use our senses. We utilize this practice of awareness and mindfulness and to adapt and with our inner being versus our outer being. And then let's go ahead and break our way all the way out to our final Shavasana. Let one leg go straight. And then let the other leg go straight. If you have something and you would like to cover your eyes this evening, go ahead and cover your eyes. And rest. And restore. Be peace. And if you feel the emotions, please let them flow. And allow these things into process out of your body and to attach less to your mind. And let them flow. And thank you all so much for this meditation tonight, for holding the space, for being space holders, and for continuing to show up and invest yourself on the mat. One day at a time. And one day at a time, continue to take care of yourself and be mindful and aware of others as we hope to continue to spread this practice. If you're just getting your day started, have a beautiful day. If you're winding your day down, enjoy where your practice has taken you tonight. I'll see you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. in for our flow practice. Take care, everyone. And be safe and be healthy. And I'll see you soon. Namaste.